control seems to have a much finer control. If you don't like the fact that Facebook seems to have control, then I think you're going to like Google Plus a little better. And you don't have to know all of it. I don't know all of it. There's a part of it called the huddle on Google Plus. I don't have an Android phone, and you need the Android phone to do the huddle. So I won't be talking much about that today. I'm hoping that I'll learn more about it a little bit later. I'll maybe do a catch-up of this later on in the semester or next semester. I guess everybody's saturated with social networking tools. Twitter? How about Twitter users? Okay.
I read it.
Read Twitter.
So I don't make notes.
Yeah. I use Twitter as my prime tool for professional development. Of course, I have the ego things here. People send me, this is a tool called TweetDeck, and it allows you to check out all the people who are on it, and these are mentions of me. I don't get a lot of mentions. Oh, there we are right there. Join me in TS Online. I tweeted this earlier today in case somebody else online might be interested in participating in today's Meet section of this. But I have lots and lots of things that I cover in this. We have the writing project. We use Twitter for messages. We don't have any active right now because school has just started and people are going nuts with that. But just, this is just another one of those things you look at it and say, I don't have time for that. I made time for it because there were so many other teachers who were using it as their primary professional development tool. And that's what I'm hoping Google Plus becomes, is a big deal in education. I think it already is a big deal in education. So you need a Gmail account. So not that's a Western account. Sorry. So you need a Gmail account to make this work. I'll send you an invitation. You need an invitation. Okay? There's Anurag has tweeted, is following me on Twitter. Elizabeth Romero has added me to Google Plus. Okay. Don't look at that. That means nothing. Once in my life, I had it down to 0. And it comes so fast sometimes that I couldn't even get a screenshot of the 0 up there. I was desperately trying to take a screenshot of it being at 0. Most of this stuff I ignore. But Gmail is really a very fine featured tool, and I recommend that all of my students...
I'm not leaving, I'm just changing.
Okay. I am recommending that all of my students get Gmail accounts in order to forward their Western accounts to it as a backup. Because, as we all know, Western's mail is terrible at search. It can't search inside stuff. It's just awful. But if you forward all your stuff to this, then you can let Gmail do doesn't forward everything, though. I will tell you that. The faculty all, maybe that's a good thing. Faculty all or your departmental bounce, it doesn't forward those. So I still have to use Western email. But you have to have this, so you're going to need a Gmail account. And once you've got the Gmail account and you're hooked up, this is my Google Plus right here. And these are all the other things that Google does. And this is all part of that thing they call the cloud. The cloud, everybody talks about the cloud this and the cloud that. And, I think I saw an AT&T commercial the other day talking about the cloud. So it's reached everyone if it's in an AT&T commercial. So I'm kind of curious as to what you all are thinking about this, because Anurag is really further along than I am as far as having used this, and I'm beginning to discover the things that I think I can use it for, but I'm wondering if you all have heard enough to know, or whether the session is mainly to jog your own professional juices as to what it might be used for? I'm just curious. Any ideas? What do you think you might use Google Plus for? Any thoughts?
Mostly for like you said, networking.
Networking, yeah.
And you could, because I like the circles.
Mhm.
Because you can have a circle of colleagues. You can have a circle of friends, like
Yes.
social friends.
Right.
Professional friends.
Right.
And then you can have, dare I say it, a circle for undesirables. I mean,
Unfriends.
you won't know.
Blocked
You won't
people.
know who's in your circles. You could, like, they don't tell you. Google Plus never tells you what circle you're in. You could be in a jerk circle. You know, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, but
Right.
it's convenient though. It helps to really organize friends and things like that.
Right. As opposed to Facebook, that, you know, if you friend somebody, you don't really have, you got a little control, but, you know, they pretty much see everything you got. Okay. Anybody? Jennifer? Have you got any thoughts about this?
From hearing about it,
Uh-huh.
that you have more control over it and can make it into groups that are separated.
Mhm.
And that's what I know about it.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, well, how can I use that
Yeah.
professionally? Because I don't do Facebook, and I won't, because you have no control, and who knows what could go up there.
Yeah. I will tell you that Google Plus, you can have the same problems if you don't. But the thing is, you have control there. You can tell it. If you share something with somebody, you can tell it, don't share that with anybody else. If you make a comment with to somebody, you can say, this comment stays with you. Right? So it's better that way. So in your classes, maybe, professionally, you're thinking about...
Classes, or, you know, if I'm working on something with colleagues where we need to meet, and it's easier to meet virtually,
Mhm.
or to have a place for discussion.
Yeah,
And it's easier than doing a phone conference, or if time scheduling doesn't work.
yeah. The video aspect of this is called... help me out here. I had a mental block. What's it called? The Hangout. And I loved it when they called it that, because all 4 years when I was an undergraduate at Center College, I worked at a place called The Hangout. It was the restaurant on campus. It's called The Hangout. So I was thrilled. And the thing about The Hangout is that you can have up to 10 people on a video chat at the same time. Now, I know that Skype, you can supposedly do 5 if you're using, I think, Windows. I don't think they have it for Mac. On the Mac, does it work with 5 people? Oh, forget about it. It never works with 5 people, ever. Skype is so flaky. I mean, it's so free and so useful that it doesn't pay to not have an account, especially if you're, you know, an international student. But, man, it just drives you crazy. The 3 times that I've used this, the only problem I've ever had with it is lag, just a little bit of lag, and that's fully expectable. I had one hangout with a guy who had originated it in Seoul, South Korea, and he had people from all over the world participating in his hangout, and it worked beautifully. So Google's figured out how to make that work, at least for now, until the demand ramps up, and we'll see whether they can scale it up. But right now, it works. So right now, if you got on Google Plus and only used the video conferencing part, and the neat thing about that is that lots of people have already developed ways to take that video conferencing and stream it so that any number of people can watch it at the same time. So think about that in terms of online courses or blended courses where you have a face-to-face element. I'm planning on using it myself. I have a wet weather stream that runs across my property, and like last spring, I got flooded out. There was no way I could get across. So this year, I'm going to have every one of my students have one of these accounts. It's taken me forever to get them to adopt it, but eventually, you know, within the next week, I'll have everybody on Gmail and everybody with a Google Plus account. And that's just something that addresses a problem that I have. Yes?
When you have more than 10 students, how do you handle that?
That's when you have to go to the streaming part of it.
And they can just watch, but
They can watch. And when somebody drops out, someone sees they drop out, the other person can jump in.
Oh, I see.
And these streaming sites also, there's one called Ustream, another called Justin TV. There's 3 or 4 different ones that you can access. They also have chat components to them, so that if you're running the chat, I know it sounds a little like juggling, but if you're running the chat and the streaming at the same time, or getting somebody to do it for you, you can look at the chat in the stream. Most people, when they do this, they've got 2 things going at the same time. They've got the video camera, and then they've got the chat and streaming over here. Somebody's going to figure that out, probably Google, and they will add to it. Everything on Google is beta, but it's, I'm learning right now. Got Jeff Lebos, the guy that I'm learning from, how to do this. So when I learn how to do it, I'll let you know.
And let's say you're chatting, there are 10 people chatting,
Right.
and you want to chat with one person.
Mhm.
Can you do that?
Pull out? I don't know. That's a great question.
I can look into it.
Okay. So you would say, well, you would want, can I pull out into a separate chat? I mean, I know there's some chat groups that are like that function, like pull out into a room, a separate room. That's kind of an old function in chat. Maybe they've got that and I just don't know about it. Anybody? What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I'm just here to learn.
Okay. Well, how did you hear about Google Plus? Is it kind of in the air, just kind of
I
around?
don't know, I just heard,
And then you,
saw the session and I wanted to know more.
okay. All right. Well, I've got things planned that I'm going to take us inside and do a stroll around it so you can get a good look at it.
They described it in Time Magazine a few weeks
Ah. Google's kind of infamous for this, for screwing things up like this. They've tried social type software twice before now, Buzz and Wave. The thing is that, when they fail at something, they're really cool about it. They take it and they reintegrate it into something better. It's a very collaborative company, a very consensus-based company. And they don't view failure like Americans view failure most of the time. Failure is just a result for Google engineers. Oh yeah, that didn't work. That's interesting. Instead of, oh damn it, that didn't work. So my money's on them. It really is. And there are a lot of people who are looking at this who are way, way smarter than I am and looking at it and say, it's going to be between Google and Amazon and not Microsoft, and definitely, most definitely not Apple. These are the two, Google and Amazon are the ones that are going to run with it. Because Amazon's coming out with a tablet in the winter, a 7-inch tablet. And every Android tablet maker is gnashing their teeth right now because Amazon's already shown they know what they're doing with the Kindle, which is an amazing piece of technology. Built-in 3G. Doesn't cost you anything. Just pay for the original piece of equipment. Yeah. So, okay, this is good. I'm appealing for this. You came to this. You came to Google Plus because of.
I was just trying to integrate myself back into the world of technology.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do Facebook. I honestly don't use a lot of technological networking, and I probably need to. I'm here to learn as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to look at it. I mean, my philosophy, I mentioned this before, is a repertoire. I believe in repertoires. And anybody here have a musician friends that play a piano, maybe classical? You got some friends. They can't do it all, can they? So they develop a repertoire, and the repertoire kind of develops them as well, so it's reciprocal. And you can't do everything. So you pick the things that look good, and you try them. I mean, I was really big on Google Wave. I love Google Wave.
What happened?
It was half-baked.
I was waiting here, and then...
Oh, I presented at a couple of conferences on Google Wave, thinking it was going to be pretty good. I hope I didn't screw it up. Yeah, but the stuff that failed in Google Wave, they kind of sloughed it off, and the stuff that succeeded, they reincorporated it. So